Coming up on this edition of Talk of the Town, folks, it is the second year doing a football preview show. Really excited to be doing that. Joining me today will be first-year Cambridge Bobcats head coach, Mr. Josh Lowery. From Noble County, we get Jesse Wells here. He is the head coach of the Shenandoah Zeps. And now that we've done Guernsey and Noble counties, we'll have to also do Muskingum County, which is why Mark Withrow, one of our many great AVC Sports voices, will be here to talk about the 2018 John Glenn Muskies. That's all on this edition of Talk of the Town.
From the U.S. Bank Studios in downtown Cambridge, Ohio, it's Talk of the Town.
And welcome on into a brand new edition of Talk of the Town from the U.S. Bank Studios here in downtown Cambridge. It's your boy Jeremy Scott in the captain's seat, of course, manning the cameras and all the buttons as he does each and every week with such great aplomb. Mr. Adam Green, our producer, man. Yeah, there he is, folks. And I tell you, this is the second year that we are doing this thing we call our football preview show. Thanks again to everybody who viewed last year. So many hits on our YouTube page and on Facebook for those shows. So that's why we brought it back this year. And I am really honored right now to be joined on set by the first-year head coach of the Cambridge Bobcats. Folks, joining me right now, I have got Mr. Josh Lowery joining me. Josh, pleasure to see you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so it is your first year. I've got to ask you a question that I'm sure you're not at all tired of answering. When you got the phone call saying, Josh, we want you to come coach the Cambridge Bobcats, how did you feel?
I felt excited. Great opportunity. You know, I thanked everybody. Being a former Bobcat, being a former quarterback, you know, getting this opportunity to be the head coach of my alma mater is something special.
Well, absolutely. You are a 2002 graduate of Cambridge. So not only did you get to coach under Rick Goodrich, you also played under him. Then you also got to coach with Kevin Gunn.
Yes.
Take me through the mindsets of each guy and what you have gleaned from each one.
Well, when it comes to Coach Goodrich, you know, he was a player's coach. You know, he was always the person making sure that the players were taken care of. With Coach Gunn, he was more your offensive mind guy. His schemes, he was unbelievable. I mean, we would sit hours, you know, and just talk about football, and he would show me blocking schemes and things he was basically trying to scheme for. He showed me how to break down film and do things like that. So.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, he is a great football mind, as was Coach Goodrich, and I would have to imagine that these guys are in great hands now that you have taken over. I was talking with a couple of your cohorts last week. I'm not going to name names, Trent Valentine, because he was on my show, which, by the way, is That Morning Show, which you can hear each and every weekday morning on 96 FM, 96.7 on your FM dial, as he was up to my show to promote Prowl Night.
Get that shameless plug in.
Always have to. It's become a weekly ritual here on Talk of the Town. But he was talking about how direct you are. That is like your big thing. That is your niche. You are so direct with how you word things whenever you talk to your players. You're very succinct with your wording. Right. Is that something that you learned from either Goody or from Coach Gunn, or is that your own thing?
That's my own thing. You know, as a player, you know, even as a person, I hate when people give you false confidence. You know, I'm direct. I tell the kids, you know, if I don't think you're doing what you need to be doing, I'm going to let you know. There's no ins and outs. You know, you're going to know when I speak. That's what I mean. So,
you've been the head baseball coach at Cambridge as well. Yes. How does what you do on the baseball field translate to the football field in terms of how you communicate?
You know, same kids. You know, we communicate. I communicate with them just the same like I do during football. But it's a big difference being the football coach than it is to being the baseball coach. Sure,
you're dealing with a lot more kids.
Yes, a lot more kids, a lot more parents, a lot more media attention. So
that's not all bad, though.
No, it's not bad at all.
So let's talk a little bit about the team this year. Cooper Kearns returns as your starting quarterback. What do you expect out of him?
You know, I expect great things. You know, in the off season, you know, we've been watching film together. He's been hitting the weight room. He took a year off of baseball just so he could focus more on football. So, I mean, he's putting the time in. I think he's going to do really well.
This is something that I think could probably be translated across the board, Josh. When it comes to a kid graduating from his junior year to his senior year, what's the biggest difference? What is the biggest difference between junior year and senior year with any player?
You know, I think the biggest difference for going from your junior to senior year is the kids realize this is their last year. You know, they put in a lot more time. For Cooper, playing quarterback last year as a junior was huge because he got a lot of experience, game time. Now I just think that he's able to take that experience, watch more films, and learn in the game, and take it to his senior year.
How many seniors do you have overall this year?
11.
11 seniors
Yes.
this year. And you've obviously seen these guys grow up from freshmen to seniors. You have to be very proud of them.
I am very proud of them. Those guys have put in a lot of time, you know, and then worked hard.
For the first time in what seems like forever, Josh, no Marietta on the schedule.
No.
What's up with that?
We dropped to the small division in the ECOL. So we lost Zanesville and we lost Marietta, and we picked up Warren Local and Riverview.
Okay, all right. And what are you seeing out of those guys? What are you seeing out of those new opponents, Riverview and Warren Local?
Well, from what I know, Warren Local was 0-10 last year, and I think Riverview was 2. But they're still good opponents to have on our schedule. Zanesville, we know, of course, was tough. So, I mean, I'm not mad about losing them. And Marietta was a good football team, too.
Yeah, so obviously some new competition for you, but also some familiar foes as well. As a matter of fact, you get both Meadowbrook and John Glenn at Cambridge this year. You have to be excited about that.
I am excited about that. But also, I mean, those two programs are doing really well right now. They're tough opponents, you know, we got to come prepared to play.
As I mentioned, you coached under both Coach Goodrich and under Coach Gunn. Even though they aren't with the program anymore, you obviously probably still have some kind of communication with them.
Yes, me and Coach Gunn talk about every day, and me and Goody, probably about once a month, every once in a while, I'll call down and ask him for some advice.
So what about assistants? Who else is on your staff?
I have Johnny Jones, who graduated from Cambridge, Ben Lambus, also another Cambridge graduate, Devin Nichols, Tank Moore, Jaleel Carter, Riley Hayhurst. I think that's about it.
Riley Hayhurst, there's a very recent graduate
Yes.
who you have on staff with you. So that's probably cool. That's probably a big boon to you because you have a guy who knows how to communicate with a lot of these guys who are his peers.
Right.
And how about Jaleel? I want to know a little bit more about Jaleel Carter because that guy's got a really cool background. For those who don't know, Jaleel actually got to play in the NFL. He also played up north in Canada for a little bit.
Yes.
So what does he bring to the table as a guy with that kind of experience?
Man, listen, that's what he brings, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. You know, when I asked Jaleel to help coach out, you know, coach with us, he was very excited. And I told him one of the reasons why was because he had that experience that he could bring to our kids. Plus, our kids look up to him because of what he's able to do.
Besides John Glenn and Meadowbrook, both of whom we've discussed, what's the one game you have circled personally right now?
Oh, man.
You could take the easy route here and you could say week 1.
Yeah, I'll say week 1. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at week 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are looking forward to everything that the Cambridge Bobcats are going to have this year. Obviously, 3-7 last year, looking to improve upon that this year, and we wish you all the best of luck. And we'll actually be covering you quite a bit this season, so looking forward to everything that you bring to the table with the Cambridge Bobcats. Congrats again on getting the gig. Josh Lowery, the Cambridge Bobcats first-year head coach, thanks so much for joining us as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It is Jeremy Scott coming at you from the U.S. Bank Studios. Folks, I tell you, our football preview show has gotten underway with a great bang. We really appreciate Coach Lowery being able to make it up here to speak with us, and we will have more Talk of the Town coming up right here on YRP TV.
Talk of the Town will be right back.
Learning Jungle on Main Street, formerly Main Street School Supply, is located in downtown Cambridge, just west of the courthouse on Wheeling Avenue. They have a huge selection full of educational resources and toys that teach as well as entertain. They feature a large inventory of gifts for children of all ages, and you just have to check out their selection of stuffed animals, puppets, games, and so much more. The Learning Jungle on Main Street, downtown Cambridge, has layaway for your convenience and is the area's only specialty toy store. A world of knowledge is waiting for you at their front door.
The Old Country Loft in Byesville is full of quality country primitives and a whole lot more. Ruth Dixon and her crew bring you the things you need to decorate your home with country charm and warmth. The Old Country Loft, corner of Main and Glass Avenue, Byesville.
Cambridge is more than just a town. This is our home.
Supporting downtown Cambridge means shopping at the places we love with the people we love.
For the stuff we can't get anywhere else.
Food that tastes like home.
And personal service from people who know your name.
The money we spend here will keep our town growing.
Let's all shop small for our town.
The home we love.
And the uniqueness that makes Cambridge
a great place to live, work, and play.
Check out Talk of the Town on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/YRPTV and be sure to subscribe.
Back here at the U.S. Bank Studios, it is Talk of the Town. Jeremy Scott still here in the captain's chair. Of course, folks, I'd be remiss in my duties if I did not remind you to check out all past episodes of Talk of the Town, either ones hosted by yours truly or the ones hosted by our dearly well, recently departed from this show host, Perry Baranich. Even though, as you can see, he is still very much in our midst with that sign that you see right there.
Over that for you, right?
Yeah, and then right over it in like crayon or something like that. I'll tell you, folks, we are really lucky because not only do we, in our position, in our area here, get to cover the Guernsey County schools, some Muskingum County schools, and Belmont County schools, we also get to cover the Noble County schools. And joining me right now, he is the head coach of the Shenandoah Zeps. He is Mr. Jesse Wells. Jesse, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
You guys are opening up with Frontier this year, week 1. How you feeling about those guys? Let's talk about that.
Good. I think they're going to be better. They played a lot of young kids last year, and those young kids eventually grow up. So I think that they'll be much improved. New head coach, that a guy that had a lot of experience before. So
all eyes this year are going to be on your senior quarterback, Mr. Boone Jones. He's a guy that you've seen grow from being the starter week 1 of the 2016 season till now. What has his growth been like? What's been the most notable thing that you've seen out of him?
It's been awesome. Boone dealt with an unfortunate injury his first JV game as a freshman, and then ended up starting halfway through the year as a freshman. And since that day, he's progressed immensely. He's just became an all-around better player. He's more physical, he's stronger, he's faster, he's a better thrower. He understands the offense more. He's a fantastic kid.
Whenever Shenandoah football is brought up in conversation, Jesse, almost inevitably it always turns to Kendall Sherman because he's kind of a jack of all trades. He is a Swiss Army knife, as it were. Do you plan this year to line him up a little bit more all over the field?
We actually did that to him last year. We kind of did different things with him. He's a special player. He has a great skill set and can catch and run and do different things. So we will use him in different ways, but mostly he's going to be lined up behind the quarterback as our tailback.
And speaking of tailbacks, you lose Nick Miller. He was like, you're all Mr. Everything. And so what do you expect in terms of production? Who do you expect to fill that role?
I don't think you can replace Nick with one person. He was a great player and actually is still continuing to play. He is going to college and is playing football. So I think that we're going to have to ask a couple different guys to do the things that he was doing for us.
Let's talk a little bit about your schedule as well, Jesse. You have 7 home games this year. That has to make you salivate.
Yeah, it's great for our community and great for our kids.
And how did that come about? How was it that you were able to get 7 home games this year?
We've done a lot of jockeying with our schedule over the last 3 years, and we've kind of made a transition. For when we got there, we weren't very good. We kind of took over a program that didn't have a lot of success. Went 4-6 that first year and have got progressively better every year. And you kind of just want to play different teams with the different team that you have. I mean, early on we were looking to try to win games and be competitive. Actually, first we were looking to be competitive. Secondly, we were then trying to progress and to win football games. Now we're in a situation where we're looking for points, and obviously we were a playoff team last year, and that's our goal and aspirations is to build and improve off of that. So I think that it's just how the schedule worked out.
October 19th, Fort Fry. Do you have that game circled?
I think there's a lot of people that have it circled, but we would be remiss to look past any of the first 8 games on our schedule because we play a lot of tough teams.
Absolutely.
So we're 100% concentrated on Frontier right now.
You're kind of in a similar situation to our first guest who we had, Josh Lowery, in that you are an alum of the school you are now the head coach of. Let's go back in time a little bit to when you first got the call that you would be the head coach of the Shenandoah Zeps. What was your immediate reaction?
It was awesome. We had a good thing going at Meadowbrook, obviously. Turned that program around and came off 2 back-to-back winning seasons, which is something that hadn't been done for a long time. So it was a situation where we left a good group of kids behind. But to go home, it's something special for sure.
We've discussed junior Kendall Sherman and senior Boone Jones. Let's talk some underclassmen. What is that group looking like? What are your freshmen and your sophomores looking like? Are you expecting any major contributors out of either one of those classes for this year?
You hope as a football coach that when you have a veteran team that you won't have to rely on younger kids a whole lot to help you fill those roles. The reality is we're a small school and only field a team of just over 30. So we are going to play a lot of guys. I think there's a lot of guys that have worked super hard. In the freshman class, I think those guys are still adjusting to high school football. The sophomore, obviously, we have some good guys in that group, and some of them that actually had some starting experience from the year before. before. So I think that the young guys are still learning and coming along, but I know that we've worked really hard with those groups, and they'll be ready if called upon.
Of your senior class right now, do you know of any of them who are looking to play beyond high school?
I actually think probably most of them. We're fortunate in the situation. We have 6 seniors, 5 of them being 4-year starters. Boone is obviously interested in going on and playing at the next level, whether it be basketball or football. We're fortunate 2 of our guys have already been offered a scholarship from Urbana, Tanner Brown and Chase Chickwalk. So obviously their plans to go play. And then Dalton Rice is an accomplished wrestler and a great football player, and is probably going to do one of those 2. And I would not be surprised if Ethan Wiley goes and does something too. I think Ethan's going to have a fantastic year this year.
That's fantastic. So again, folks, the Shenandoah Zeps will be opening up week 1 against Frontier, and that's, I know, always a game. That's a big game for the community, and that's one to get very excited about as well.
Yeah, small town football.
Small town football. You got to love the Friday night lights come on, and you're starting to be able to feel it a little bit too. I saw the weather forecast. We were kind of talking off camera a little bit about the weather forecast. It sounded like this coming Friday night is going to be very nice. Pretty much ideal weather for week 1 of starting football, because there have been week 1s where it's been pretty brutally hot.
Yeah.
That does not seem like it's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, our big boys will appreciate the cooler temperatures.
Well, Jesse Wells, I really appreciate the fact that you were able to come up here and speak with us. All the best of luck this year. Seriously, we'll be covering you quite a bit this year on KC 105 and on a couple of our other stations as well. But you can mainly hear the Shenandoah Zeps on KC 105 this year, so definitely tune in for that. And hey, congratulations on making it to the playoffs last year. We look for continued success out of you this year.
We hope so too. Thank you.
And say hi to Matt Weddle for us.
What's up, Weddle?
It is Jeremy Scott. We will be back with one of the voices of AVC Sports. We call him the Big Zepper. At least that's what Tommy Strasser calls him. Speaking of Shenandoah, he is Mr. Mark Withrow. We'll be speaking with him next, right here on Talk of the Town.
Talk of the Town will be right back. Bundy Law Funeral Home has worked since 1924 to earn the confidence of the families they have served and continue their commitment to the community. They offer a complete range of quality services, from funerals to cremation, and honor all faiths and customs. The staff at Bundy Law understands you need to know all the available options to make the right decisions for your family. A price list is available upon request, and they invite your comparisons. You will make the right choice when you choose Bundy Law Funeral Home.
Cambridge is more than just a town. This is our home.
Supporting downtown Cambridge means shopping at the places we love with the people we love.
For the stuff we can't get anywhere else.
Food that tastes like home.
And personal service from people who know your name.
The money we spend here will keep our town growing.
Let's all shop small for our town.
The home we love.
And the uniqueness that makes Cambridge
a great place to live, work, and play.
U.S. Bank is the 5th largest bank in the country, and while being recognized nationally for their strength and stability, they continue to provide hometown service. At U.S. Bank, they provide a variety of products and services for your consumer and small business needs, such as free checking with internet banking, loans and lines of credit, and free financial planning services. At U.S. Bank, they're proud to support the growth and development of their communities by helping local business owners achieve success.
For a show schedule of upcoming guests and to watch past episodes, go to yourradioplace.com.
Back here at U.S. Bank Studios in downtown Cambridge, it's Jeremy Scott. It's Talk of the Town. And what am I holding right here? Why, I am holding the entire 2018 AVC football schedule. Is in our broadcast schedule, and you can actually find that at our website, yourradioplace.com, if you would like to see all the games we are going to be covering for this upcoming regular season. And we have some dandies. Speaking of dandies, I have a dandy of a gentleman sitting here on set with me. One of the voices, my sometimes broadcast partner of any sport that I do here at AVC, whether that be football, basketball, baseball. He's just a jack of all trades and just an all-around good guy to know and to be able to work with. He is Mr. Mark Withrow. Mark, thanks for joining us, man.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here.
Listen, John Glenn, let's talk about it. First of all, there's no sugarcoating this. They had a heck of a season last year, and they came within inches, almost literally, of making it to a state championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A dream season. I mean, they, let's call it like it is. A 4th and 25 from the 25 kept them out of the state finals, and so they're very optimistic, and they lose quite a bit, but they've set a tone at the Little Muskies camp and school. Everybody wants to top it.
Yeah.
So they've got a good thing going.
Well, you mentioned all the productivity that they lose. They do lose 15 seniors. Is there any replacing of that kind of productivity?
Well, I think there is, but it's got to be by committee. You got to. I tell you, one of the biggest was their leader, Justin Haycock, All Ohio, throws for over 2,100 yards. I mean, he was a gunslinger. He made everybody around him better. Now, don't get me wrong, there were other talented athletes on that team, and they worked very well together, but he was kind of the straw that stirred the drink. Going to be tough to replace him, but in this season, they had a lot of young men that got playing time, and that's going to be beneficial as they go into this season. And the seniors, juniors back last year, are going to really, they're going to have pride. They want to top the seniors that just left. The seniors that just left they're accomplished. They're going in the record books, and now it's time for the seniors this year to set up their path.
You mentioned Justin Haycock graduating onto greener pastures. So that means that it'll be either senior Parker Zachrich or junior Evan Williams under center going into week 1. Coach Matt Edwards has kind of left it ambiguous as to who it'll be under center for week 1. What does that do going into the season? Do you find that to be an advantage? Do you think that somewhere in his craw he knows exactly who it's going to be? Or do you think it's legitimate that this is a true competition?
Well, I think it's a little of both. I think there is true competition going on. I mean, that's what you want as you go into camp. But I think he also knows that Parker Zachrich had an instrumental role in the season last year. Came in, did a lot of defensive back worked on the offense. He's going to have that experience that's just tough to beat coming down the stretch. Not to take anything away from the other candidate, but I think Parker Zachrich has probably got his foot in the door, but he ain't going to tell us that.
You heard it here first, folks. Coach Withrow over here predicts it'll be Parker Zachrich under center week 1 for the John Glenn Muskies. Fearless, call him Mark the Greek.
What can I say?
What are the odds on that? For entertainment purposes only, of course.
I don't know that. I'm not an odds maker. Jimmy the Greek, I ain't. But but I think that they're going to have great competition there because everybody. That's a great thing about the preseason is everybody's optimistic and they're going to come back. And you've got these young men that excelled last year, and because they were led by those seniors. Now these seniors are wanting to lead. I read an article somewhere where a couple of seniors voiced that they're leading the younger group, so it's going to be an exciting year.
This is Coach Matt Edwards' 4th year at the helm, which means that these guys who are going to be graduating this year, he has seen grow up from freshmen to seniors. Does that make the motivation just a little extra for the season?
Well, not only does it make the motivation probably more intense, but those guys have been in the program the longest, and they have seen going from a not so productive first year into a one call from going to the state finals. That's a lead in Ohio football. And so they see what it takes. They believe, and believing is 80% of it. You get in there and you believe. It's a lot easier to go out there and sweat and toil in the summer when you've got a belief that you can be good.
If last year's any indicator, Mark, they're going to have one heck of a playmaker, a potent playmaker in the form of Joseph Clifford. He is the wide receiver who scored mucho touchdowns last year, had over 500 yards receiving, or close to 500 yards receiving, I should say. Is it possible for him to be even better this year as a senior than he was as a junior?
Well, I think he will be better. I will predict that. I will not give you percentage. But he did. He had, I think he had 8 touchdowns last year. He had 28 receptions, close to 500 yards, like you say. But see, there were other receivers that were possession-type receivers and things, and he tried to stretch the field. Coach Edwards tried to stretch the field vertical with that speed, and he's got it, finishing first in the 110 highs and the 300 lows in the state track.
Yeah.
So he's a tremendous talent. I think you're going to see them try to get the football in his hands a little bit more, so don't be surprised if he's not running, sweeps and things like this. But there's also a core of receivers that they have that are actually very close in talent. They don't lose a lot. Ben Larson's a senior, Gavin Thompson. Those guys are 3-year letter winners. You've got Reese Perkins and Score Perkins. They are cousins, by the way, but they both have had great experience last year. These guys caught a lot of footballs last year. Justin Haycock threw that ball all over the place, and these guys were able to catch those balls. You've got a lot of experience there. Then you throw in a couple of others, J.D. Brown, Ben Judd. Those guys are very talented, and they're very equal, and they understand Coach Edwards' rotation, and that's big because, like kids want playing time. But when they understand a fresh receiver, a fresh back makes them produce better, and they go with a whole bunch like they did last year, it's going to work out pretty well.
Going to be one fantastic season for the John Glenn Muskies. I have the feeling that both Mark and I are feeling that on set right now. I can tell you, Mark, really quickly, since we're talking about prognostications, October 12th, the game against Tri-Valley. I have that circled as the one that's going to decide the MVL. We'll have to wait and see. But don't forget, folks, you can catch John Glenn's first game this Friday. That'll be against Meadowbrook on WYLE-FM at 97.7. And also, you'll be able to see it right here on YRP TV. So exciting stuff right there. Mr. Mark Withrow, one of our many AVC Sports voices. We appreciate you being here, my friend.
Well, thank you. I had to step in. Coach Edwards got some other things going on, and I appreciate the opportunity. It gets me excited because they're going to be decent, and that Meadowbrook game is going to be a huge game. That's two good football teams.
Indeed it is. We will be back to wrap up Talk of the Town right here on YRP TV.
Talk of the Town will be right back.
Learning Jungle on Main Street, formerly Main Street School Supply, is located in downtown Cambridge, just west of the courthouse on Wheeling Avenue. They have a huge selection full of educational resources and toys that teach as well as entertain. They feature a large inventory of gifts for children of all ages, and you just have to check out their selection of stuffed animals, puppets, games, and so much more. The Learning Jungle on Main Street, downtown Cambridge, has layaway for your convenience and is the area's only specialty toy store. A world of knowledge is waiting for you at their front door. U.S. Bank is the 5th largest bank in the country, and while being recognized nationally for their strength and stability, they continue to provide hometown service. At U.S. Bank, they provide a variety of products and services for your consumer and small business needs, such as free checking with internet banking, loans and lines of credit, and free financial planning services. At U.S. Bank, they're proud to support the growth and development of their communities by helping local business owners achieve success.
Bundy Law Funeral Home has worked since 1924 to earn the confidence of the families they have served and continue their commitment to the community. They offer a complete range of quality services, from funerals to cremation, and honor all faiths and customs. The staff at Bundy Law understands you need to know all the available options to make the right decisions for your family. A price list is available upon request, and they invite your comparisons. You will make the right choice when you choose Bundy Law Funeral Home.
Thanks again to my guests for this edition of Talk of the Town, the Cambridge Bobcats first-year head coach, Mr. Josh Lowery, as well as Jesse Wells, the Shenandoah Zeps skipper, and, of course, Mr. Mark Withrow, our great AVC Sports voice, one of our many great AVC Sports voices. Folks, don't forget this Thursday, as a matter of fact, if you're watching this on Thursday, then I guess I'm talking about tonight, our high school football coverage starts. That'll be on Nash Icon at 7 o'clock. Mark Withrow will actually be joining me on the call for Newark Catholic at Maysville. Then coming up Friday, full slate of action for week 1. We're talking about Meadowbrook and John Glenn on WYLE-FM at 97.7. Caldwell will be at Buckeye Trail. That game will be on Kickin' Country KC 105. Newcomers Town will be visiting Barnesville on 93 BMV. And to wrap things up for our week 1 football schedule, Zanesville at Newark again. That'll be on Nash Icon, which, by the way, you can hear on 107.9 FM around Cambridge. And then if you're in the Zanesville market, 98.5 FM. Don't forget, you can always watch past episodes of Talk of the Town on YRP TV. And oh yeah, speaking of YRP TV, that Meadowbrook and John Glenn game, that'll also be on YRP TV. So if you'd like to watch it, you can do so. For our producer, Mr. Adam Green, my name is Jeremy Scott saying, have yourself a fantastic day.